Don't say hiatus.
Hello and welcome to Before We Break Up Again, a podcast with me, Alfie Brown, and her, Jessie Cave. On this week's episode, we speak about Jessie's time spent in Germany at Pottercon. What does it involve? Find out here next. We also speak about the kind of dog that we're going to get, and Jessie's really is put in her place about the appropriate sort of dog for our family. Hurrah for me. We speak about the Minecraft movie and how I exist halfway, at the halfway point on a continuum between Jack Black and Jason Momoa. There are worse places for a man to be, I'm sure you'll agree. And we speak about homeschooling and traveling the world with our children, because Jessie, if you haven't forgotten, is insane. This is Before We Break Up Again.
Let's get this show on the road.
The show is on the road now.
Does it sound good, the show?
The show sounds good.
Okay, good.
Say more things?
More things.
Thank you. We're back. We have been delayed in our release of this podcast by Pottercon.
Pottercon, German Pottercon.
What was that like?
German Pottercons are always quite good because they're usually in a castle as opposed to a convention centre. So you have a nice time in a castle, but this one was pretty quiet for me.
So talk us through what a Pottercon being quiet for you means for our listeners who have never attended a Comic-Con or one of the adjacent events.
Right. So a convention in general is where fans of a big thing, a franchise usually, they pay for a ticket to come and get an autograph from you, speak to you. Yes, that is the creaky table.
Photo taken?
Had a few comments about the creaky table.
Photo taken? Photo taken,
but you had to pay extra. But you can be kind of cheeky and take a photo from a distance, which is really funny when they do, because it's very, it's no different to a photo really, but they just don't.
But they're not in it. Surely the whole fun of the selfie is that you are in it with the person that you desire to be seen with.
Yeah.
There are loads of photos of Harrison Ford.
Yeah, well,
I don't need to take one to have a photo of him, but to have a photo of Harrison Ford with me, now that's a very different proposition, isn't it?
Yes. And I also realized that people do love selfies. So quite often, say my assistant sitting next to me would be like, do you want me to take the photo of you and Jessie? And they'd be like, no, I love selfies. And then they get me to hold the phone and take the photo.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I always think selfie photos are quite ugly.
For clarity, do you have a personal assistant in your day-to-day life, or is this just a thing that is at Pottercon? No,
so the wonderful thing about conventions in general is that the people who work at the conventions are true fans of the things. So they volunteer to be, Harrison Ford's assistant for the day. Mm-hmm. And if they're lucky enough, they sit next to him all day and
that's my dream.
He grumbles.
I don't think he'd grumble. I think he'd say something witty.
Their main job is to make sure that you're not kind of like going to get mobbed, which is no risk for me. And they write down each person's name on a Post-it so you don't mess up their name when you're signing the photograph.
Oh, nice.
So by the end of the day, you usually have a stack of Post-its with random names on, which I quite like.
Yes, that's exactly the sort of thing that you'd be into, isn't it?
Love it.
A huge collection of random names so you can fantasize about all of their different lives and what their names say about them and who they are.
Yeah. And you can tell a lot by someone's name, I've realized.
Yeah.
Really, really can. Anyway, it's really amazing. Maybe we should just talk about conventions for ages. It is such a fascinating world. But this convention was very, very quiet for me because in Harry Potter, for those who don't know, I was in Harry Potter. I played Lavender Brown in the 6th film and then I just died in the last one. But I had a good prominent role in the 6th film. So I'm quite lucky because I get to go to conventions and be, I'm recognizable from being in it. But there are people who are in smaller roles in the earlier films who still get to go to conventions. And basically anyone can go to a convention if you've been in the franchise. And the convention kind of didn't do as well as it should have because they involved too many ranging characters. So they had Tom Felton and Evanna Lynch, who were massive characters in it. Tom Felton was basically one of the main. He was, there's the trio, Harry, Ron and Hermione, but Tom Felton was basically there
Yes,
with
he's
them
the
every
most-
step.
He's the most consistent antagonist, isn't it? And does he become good in the end of the film? Does it?
Don't test me. Don't test me. Not as up
Is
to date.
Jason Isaacs his dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then he gets, and then Helena Bonham Carter's his mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and then Jason Isaacs
No.
gets addicted.
Helena Bonham Carter isn't his mum.
Okay, who's his mum?
That's his aunt.
Right.
Narcissa, who was played by Helen McCrory, is his mum.
Right. So, so Jason Isaacs gets addicted to Helen McCrory's lorazepam and
Yes.
can't because he's worried about Voldemort.
Yes.
Right.
He's like Voldemort's loyal servant type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know, do you?
No, I do. I just panicked about something else.
You've never seen Harry Potter, have you?
No, I have. Oh no, I'm worried, Alfie.
What are you worried about?
No, I can't.
What are you worried about?
Can you say servant? Is servant a bad thing to say?
Depends about the context. You can't.
Because I heard someone say
You can't
servant the other day, and I was
say,
like,
there
I don't
goes-
think you can say that anymore.
No. So like, there's servant, which is you'd say it in Downton Abbey. I've never seen Downton Abbey, but you'd say it. But servants like are paid. It's slave. You want to be careful of.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. I wasn't. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I suddenly just
Well,
thought. I don't know. I just suddenly worried.
Oh, Jason Isaacs was Voldemort's servant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loyal server. Like loyal server.
I don't think you need to worry about it.
Okay,
It's fine.
cool.
I really think you're fine.
We're only 5 minutes in and I'm worried. Anyway, Tom Felton, Ivana Lynch and Katie Lung, who played Cho Chang in the 5th film, and the rest of them, they were big characters. They had a lot of people there for them. And then there was lots of people. And then Devon Murray, who's a really good friend who played Seamus Finnegan, he is a big character, but he does so many conventions, whereas these 3 don't do that many. So they were influxed, whereas we were kind of tumbleweed.
Okay, so the convention heads know who's a regular.
Yeah.
And if you're a regular at the conventions, people go, that person's going to be at the next one. I can wait on an autograph for them. I'm going to go for the rare fruit of the garden, which is Cho Chang.
And Tom Felton.
And Tom Felton.
Malfoy and Luna, yeah. And Malfoy and Luna were put in a separate place to us because they had such big queues, whereas the rest of us, including some characters who were quite little, but were there because they wanted to have like the full array, we were put in these 2 castle rooms at high standing up desks. And it meant that basically people treated the rooms like museums. We were just looked at. No one really came to get us to sign anything. So people just walked through the rooms, which were quiet. So you're less likely to talk to people if it's quiet because it's like I'm asking you to, do you want my autograph type thing? It's really embarrassing. So people just walked through the rooms like it was an art gallery really and looked at us.
Oh.
For the whole weekend. I think I signed 10 autographs.
Oh, God.
I know it's really bad, but that's very unusual, I will say.
Yeah. No, but the last one I went to was in Paris and the queue for you was huge. And in fact, there was a character in Harry Potter called Won who was there.
Rupert Grint, yeah.
Right, Rupert Grint was there. And sometimes people would get you to do a photo with him and the person. So it was like the both of you because you were.
Yeah.
And I was there.
That was a big score for the convention.
The fuck are you doing?
Sorry, I treaded on that. Sorry. You came to that one. That was nice. And then I went to that one the next year and Rupert wasn't there and people didn't give a shit. It's quite humbling going to conventions. And this one was really nice because it was run by a young guy who was the landlord of the castle. So he showed us his flat when it was quiet. We just went and saw his flat.
The castle looks like it was purpose built for Harry Potter. It has a very Potter-esque energy.
It did, but he's actually decorated the rooms to be Harry Potter themed.
Oh, has he?
So the bedrooms are all there's lots of potions and owls and fake cats and stuff like that.
I wonder what the economy, like the global economy, the GDP of Harry Potter related businesses on a global scale per year. It must be absolutely enormous.
Yeah, if you think about Primark has Harry Potter themed things. Everywhere you go, there's Harry Potter merchandise somewhere.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of amazing. And then after we went, it's been the Easter holidays. It's about to end. We've got through it. But on the first day of the Easter holidays, I took them to Harry Potter World. And that was a real eye opener into the, how much money they are making daily.
Did you get recognised there?
Of course I did. Yeah. And it was a real mistake to have gone in thinking that I wouldn't. And I should have asked for some kind of
chaperone.
I was just left though. Like, I mean, I think it's real lack of care, really. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to get mobbed, but I should have thought about it more. Going on the shuttle bus from Watford Junction to Leavesden Studios and it being full at 9 a.m. in the morning and having to walk up on the top deck with all 4 kids and my mum and the only seats were right at the back of the bus. So I had to parade us down the middle of the bus. Everyone looking at me thinking, there's Lavender Brown on the bus. Why is she on the bus? Kind of thing. And all of them just looking at us throughout the bus journey.
What must you have looked like?
It was so embarrassing.
Like a retired cricketer wandering around Lords with a single tear rolling down your cheek thinking, oh, these were the days.
But people just looked at me like, why are you on the bus? And it's like, because obviously I'm on the bus. How else are we going to get to Leavesden Studios? But people assume that, I don't know, you have a chauffeur and you can just get to the studio.
If I was with you, I would have sat with the people on the bus looking at you going, you know, she's here every day, don't you? You know, she comes every single day. They've had to, they don't charge her anymore. They just let her come in and potter about.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. And then there were some people just taking photos of me at very awkward positions throughout the day. But it was a really amazing...
Why were you in an awkward position?
Like just, you know, like lurching for a child or like a very unflattering position. Really unflattering. I know some disgusting photos are out there. And, but interestingly, I think because of the announcements of the new Harry Potter remake, there's lots of resurgence of, like there's apparently a girl on TikTok going viral because she's bitching about what happened in Harry Potter on set because she was a supporting art, a background artist. We used to call them extras, but you're not allowed to do that anymore, but background artist. And she's being like, what you don't know is on the set that day, we were kept in a cage. We were kept in a cage and our lunch was just a bread roll. And it's complete bullshit, like utter lies. But because it's picking up on, people are talking about the recasting of Harry Potter and stuff, it's gone mad.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about Harry Potter anymore. I talk about Harry Potter so much.
I know that you wanted to talk about, you've got written down here, the Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, shut the fuck up right now. Right, how did you enjoy the Easter holidays?
Oh my God. Easter. Christ, you know, he died on Good Friday and then was resurrected on the 3rd day. Now, people often say that Easter Sunday was the day that Christ was resurrected, but it must be the Monday if it was the 3rd day. That's just a little point on a word on our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ. We're trying to get him to sponsor the podcast.
We're trying to go big time religious.
We want to get Jesus Christ involved because, like, you know, if you've milked Harry Potter for all it's worth. Time to go for who's the only, you know, orphan who's bigger than Harry Potter? It's Jesus Christ.
Right. And also we're going to have to become religious if we're going to get our kids into any schools in Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a big thing anymore, is it?
It is. That like all of the schools, most of the schools are Catholic. But
isn't that discriminatory to say you're not a Christian so you can't come in?
Yeah, and they have like 5% for those non-Christians who can get in. 5% of places go to non-Christians.
Right, and okay.
We are genuinely going to have to consider faking Christianity.
As you wish.
Yeah, I'm quite up for it.
Well, I think there are certain aspects of our family that would communicate to a wider audience that we are religious. I think it's the only plausible explanation for the amount of children we have a lot of the time.
And would justify our triplets coming soon.
Yeah. Do you still feel like you want to do your triplets joke so much nowadays?
Yeah, I'm up for it. I'm really up for it. Yeah. And I think I've only got a year where I can actually be up for it. I'm almost 38. It's time. It's time for the triplets.
Yeah, but you do understand when you're 39, the triplets will still be there.
They're not just for Christmas.
No, triplets are not just for Christmas. Triplets are for life. While you were in Pottercon, whatever it's called, I was at home with our 4 children, and that I had a great deal of fun with them. And I think there are times in my past when I would have struggled a great deal with the sheer amount of children that we have. But I really, I still raised my voice at them, and I still got angry, and because you've got to, because the children are disobedient when they're 3 and 4 and 7 and 8, or 8 and 10, sorry. But it was wonderful. It was really, really wonderful. And for I really felt
You wrote a positive diary entry. You started writing a diary on my demands.
I've started writing a diary, yeah.
And you wrote a positive diary entry for the first
time. And thank God, because we were 5 days in, and there was very little doing in the positivity department. It read very adolescent, teen, emo, scribbling their darkest thoughts. A bit more eloquent maybe, but
I don't think it matters if it's negative or positive, as long as you're writing something down about your day. I think it's so good for you.
I think when I come to reflect on this, I will be glad of the positivity on the 2nd of April, 2025. I went to my mother's for Easter Sunday lunch with my uncle and aunt, 2 cousins and their lovely spouses. Or spies.
And their dog.
And their dog, Millie, the little Schnauzer, that was our children and that dog warmed to each other across the course of the afternoon, and it was delightful to see. But I don't think the dog was a bit freaked out by, why are these humans my size? Have somebody put these humans on the hot wash? What's happened here that means that they're the same size as me? This is a bit creepy.
Well, I'm not a fan of the miniature Schnauzer, so.
No. What breed are you leaning towards for our?
I've talked a lot about dogs this weekend with everybody.
Yeah. I got leapt at by an XL bully last night.
Oh my gosh.
On my way home from Horatio Gould's wonderful show.
No plugging.
We
don't plug on this podcast.
We do.
No, we don't.
Okay.
I'll plug someone now.
Go on then.
No, I'm joking.
What do you want to plug?
It was just a joke. It was just a joke, and now you've made a thing of it. Sorry. We talked a lot about dogs. Horror stories. I genuinely am terrified of getting a dog.
Yeah, sure.
And a lovely girl who I was in Harry Potter with me, she was telling me that they fostered a dog for 3 months, just as a favor because somebody was moving out country or something. And the dog was not a husky, but something which had long hair. Mm. And they said that daily they would have to hoover at least twice. Mm. And the dog has now been gone, and there's still hair every time you hit their clothes, like a hair just hair just keeps coming out of nowhere. So the hair thing is the main thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, well, that's why you wanted to get a low shedding or hypoallergenic dog.
Yeah,
which is why the giant Schnauzer was such a good choice, which is why it was mooted as a good dog in the first place.
But they just look ferocious.
But it's not ferocious. It has a wonderful temperament. It is a good dog that will behave well.
I just think they aren't attractive. I'm sorry. And I want to look at the dog and think, oh, that's cute, rather than,
Okay. Those are both, those are well drawn emotions.
I think the only option is a doodle.
It's not the only option. I have to tell you that it's not the only option.
Okay.
I won't be getting a doodle.
A short haired, I think Santa's little helper.
You think a whippet?
Yeah.
Or an Italian greyhound?
Yeah.
Or indeed a greyhound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one which looks clean.
And you're going to look at that, are you, and go, oh.
No, but I'm not going to be scared of it.
No. You're going to see its little cock all the time as well.
No.
Or its teats.
I need a female one.
Yeah, or then its little nipples.
Yeah, I don't mind the nipples.
Okay.
I don't mind the nipples. We need to get a female dog, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they're smaller.
Yeah.
The giant Schnauzer, if we're going to do it, we're going to cut all of that stuff off.
Yeah, you
don't want any of that.
It doesn't have to have a beard.
Okay, cool. Why do they all have them then?
Because it's aesthetic. It's just the way that it is. Why not? Why do poodles all look like big sort of toilet brushes? I'm so scared, Alfie. Everyone who I know who's known me well over a course of like now over a decade, whenever I said I'm about to get a dog, they were like, you aren't getting a dog. You will not get a dog. Do you know what? The people said that to me about having children when you said that you were pregnant. So people said the same thing to me. And you know what? I was scared of having a baby. And you know, there were lots of things like, I don't want, that kind of baby. But I had it. And you get on with it and you learn how to live with it and it makes you happy. And, family life is about compromise. And
I think we're going to have to get a cat too.
We're not going to get a cat.
I think we have to because it's not fair on our daughter. She so desperately wants a cat and it's going to have mice, this house.
Then that's why you need to get a Schnauzer. It's a perfect dog for...
Oh, do they scare mice too?
Schnauzers, that's what a Schnauzer's... Yeah, they're the best dog to get if you've got mice is a giant Schnauzer. Yes.
At the convention, they always bring birds, obviously, because Harry Potter's got a lot of birds in it. So there's always falcons and eagles and stuff. And so there was this big falcon, I think, that we all had to do a cast photo with. And the guy, amazing looking guy with long hair and these, bird gloves constantly. I was like, do you want to hold it? And I was like, no.
Jesus Christ, where's he from?
I don't know.
Okay. But where about?
Germany.
Germany. Okay, great. Because it sounded quite Asian.
Oh, right. Sorry. And when we were getting the cast photo, we had to stand there for maybe 20 seconds and this bird kept going as if, and a girl.
Bear in mind that a lot of people listen to this podcast and can't see. So could you describe your hand movements for us?
Doing the wing thing, like as if it's about to swoop down and attack.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl on the floor for the pose. And I just thought her head's about to go. She's about to get her head eaten. And then between takes, the owner of the bird would just stuff a mouse into his mouth, the beak. Not his mouth, the bird's beak.
I hope you've all enjoyed the bird show. I'm actually a little bit hungry for a snack now. And
like a little mouse. It was so gross.
Yeah. So if we have mice, then a giant Schnauzer or any kind of Schnauzer is the correct dog to get to ward off the mouse problem.
Okay, I think you're right. I know. It's the only option. It's the only option is giant Schnauzer.
Hypoallergenic. Good dog. Good dog.
No,
I bumped into somebody in the pub on Lark Lane and said, like, oh, you got a giant Schnauzer? And he goes, yeah, got a giant Schnauzer. Why did you choose that? Goes, oh, well, we've got a family and it's just got such a great temperament. And I went, fucking boom. Okay. Where's Jessie? Could you voice note that for me, mate?
A female one.
I need to send it to my spouse.
A female one?
Yeah, a female giant Schnauzer.
So do they, as a puppy, are they the size of a miniature Schnauzer?
Yes.
Are they even tinier?
Well, yeah, when they're first born, they'll be tiny, yeah.
So how quickly do they grow? I've never seen a puppy in the in-between stages.
A dog takes about 1 year to 2 years to become fully developed.
They must have growing pains.
Boxers also low shedding, not hypoallergenic, but low shedding. Just FYI.
I just think, I think I'm erring towards a boxer than a giant Schnauzer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Your Labradors and your Golden Retrievers are going to be pretty hair. There's going to be a hair situation. German Shepherd, I don't think you couldn't accommodate that much fur, I don't think.
I'm just so worried about just say sitting on the sofa and there being hair. Like what if you're...
But I think this is really going to improve the quality of your person.
I know.
Because you will have to learn to live with. I think that I hear you say, wash your hands more than I hear any other phrase from any other human being throughout the course of a day, week, month or year.
Yeah, but to be fair, it stops them getting sick so much.
Does it? Or does it desensitize their immune systems and therefore make them more likely to become ill when they do come into contact inevitably with germs?
Okay, well, touch wood, I don't get sick very much, do I?
No,
I just don't.
Okay.
And I wash my hands a lot. And I think during COVID, it was proven that hand washing is vital.
That was when there was a virus going around, yeah.
There were viruses going around all the time though.
Yeah.
Especially at schools. I think it is vital for them to wash their hands. Anyway, we survived the Easter holidays. We're getting a giant Schnauzer. You looked after the kids very well on your own for 3 days and you had a lovely time, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm. I sometimes haven't fared too well when left to my own devices.
No.
And we'll leave it there. There's no need to, with too much relish, agree with what I just said. But just because I find it's a very daunting number of children, albeit they are mine.
Well, when you've done incredibly well then, because do you remember when I was filming for 6 weeks and you looked after them and I was like, let's get some help. We need some help. You can't do this on your own. And you were like, no, I can do it. That 6 weeks led to our breakup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were so stubborn about it, but you so needed to do it. It was so strange.
But I think if I did it now, I'd be a lot better.
And there was only 3 of them.
Yeah, but as I said, I think if I did it, I'd be but the youngest one is my favourite. So he sort of he makes the other 3 better.
Our youngest one is your favourite right now.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't even want him.
I didn't want any of them.
That's amazing. He is a great baby, isn't he?
He is a great baby.
Yeah, and he had to go to A&E during Easter holidays. That was so bad.
So when we were in Liverpool organising some stuff for our house, and indeed our eldest was doing something
11 plus booster course, because we've somehow become pushy parents in that way, accidentally. By default, we're pushy parents.
I think it just makes sense with the shit fight that it takes to get children into a school up there.
Yeah, and there are so few schools. So it's just vital that he does, and more importantly, he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
He actually wants to.
He's a big work enthusiast.
He was doing a booster course up there, so we went up, and I thought it'd be a lovely 2 days of family holiday, staying in a hotel, seeing our house. But most crucially, we were moving our storage unit up. We're emptying our storage unit in London and moving that stuff. We were meant to be getting rid of a lot of stuff, but I ended up just putting it all in a van to go to Liverpool. So that's why we were in Liverpool.
It was a fraught few days. I don't know if any of you have ever gone to Honest Burger with 4 children whose key aim in life is destruction and noise. But we did. And even as I was masticating, I couldn't tell you what that burger tasted like. You were at your peak. You were so stressed in that restaurant, weren't you? I don't understand. I was completely fine. I was cold, but I was fine. And they were behaving quite well, but you just clocked out. Why? Because I don't know. I've stopped drinking coffee since then. So maybe that was what was causing my anxiety. And on the way back from Liverpool on the train, which was delayed by hours, I went back with my eldest, and you went back with the other 3 a little bit earlier, because we needed to stay longer for him to finish this course. And I bumped into somebody on the tube who watches the podcast. And they said, "Oh, hello, I like your podcast." And then I got and I went, "Oh, fuck, what do you do? Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you then go, 'Oh, thank you, what's your name?' Or do you go, 'Oh, I'll just leave you to read your book'?" But she said it in a very closed off way.
Yeah, you just say, "Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice."
But I will tell you, she was reading a book by Judith Butler. So that's the level of the listener we've got here.
I have no idea who's Judith Butler.
She or they, hard to know, but is a feminist writer who has written extensively on the subject of gender and sex, and has been doing a lot of interviews recently with the Supreme Courts, which of course is something that you wanted to talk about.
Big topic. No, absolutely not. Anyway, let's go back. In Liverpool, we went out for pizza the next night, and the plan was that we would take them all to see the Minecraft movie, because Alfie desperately wanted to see it. He's really just been waiting for this film to come out. But what happened is we went back to the hotel to drop some stuff. They had run down this corridor 10 times already. We've stayed at this hotel so many times. They always just, bolt down the corridor to get to the room as a race every single time. They've done it safely. But this one time, I wasn't looking. I was waiting for them to just go and put the bag in. And the youngest somehow ran into a steel pillar that wasn't in the middle of the thoroughfare. It was like on the side. How did he do that? What was he doing? He had done it a million times before. What happened?
Because it's 4 children running as fast as they can down a corridor, and there's a big steel pillar with one of those points. It's not a perfect square. It has a point that comes out.
It's hard to describe, isn't it?
It is quite hard to describe. And he split his head open.
But only on the corner, thank God, because if it had been in the middle, he would have a scar for life. But this is right on the corner where the forehead kind of bends over. I'm so bad at describing things. On the corner. Is that a corner?
Yeah, the top side of it.
As the forehead slopes into the temples.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's very good.
Okay, so we then had to, there was immediately loads of blood. Immediately it became an emergency situation. I start screaming for them to get a towel. For some reason, they have done the most annoying thing with leaving the hotel room key in the hotel room. So we all basically fail a test at that moment. The kids fail a test because they've done the race, which has led to this happening when we probably wouldn't have. It wasn't their fault. They just wanted to do it. But they've now locked the hotel key in the room. You fail because then you're just kind of standing there, unsure what to do. You try and get into the room. You do. I am just picking him up, hyperventilating and seeing the blood and trying to not stop the blood because I didn't want to touch it, but I was just cuddling him. And it takes about 3 minutes before we get a towel. It was such a waste of time. And I thought, this is serious. This is so serious. And it was one of those moments where you just think, well, that's it. That's it. That's it now. That's it.
That's it what?
Like
you always say that's it. That's it what?
That's it. That's a massive accident. That's game over. We're dead.
Game over. We're dead.
Yeah. Like he's
game over. We're dead.
Kind of like if he's dead, then I'm dead and we're dead.
But he's not dead.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know at that point. I was like, well, maybe he's got a massive head injury. He's going to have a concussion. He's going to go into a coma. He's going to die.
But how many times have we had a child or do you experience a child bumping their head and you know that it's okay as long as the child is screaming? And if the child is knocked out, trouble. If the child's going, ow, fuck, my head's bleeding, this is a bit of a nightmare, then you go, oh, great. The kid has the wherewithal to go, I'm in pain. It so obviously wasn't a concussion. I thought that he might need stitches. He didn't, but it was so obviously just a concussion. But and there's all of this experience to draw on.
I know, but you don't think of that experience when you're in the moment.
I do. Why don't?
But you don't, the thing is, you don't know for sure. No one knows for sure. He could have had a delayed concussion. He was speaking weirdly. I thought, he was mumbling. He was in shock.
Yeah, he was in shock.
You still don't know for sure. So, and also I've never seen that much blood come out of a thing.
That wasn't that much blood.
To me, there was. To me, it was a failure. We had failed him. We had let him have that accident. Even though it was something that should have been no problem, and we weren't as cautious as we should have been, and it was our fault. And I felt so awful about it. But the funny thing is, we immediately got an Uber. They took us to the hospital, which happened to be that table.
I've had it on there the whole time, so it's the only time it's creaked.
No, it hasn't. It's been creaking nose, baby.
Carry on.
Yeah. Just we need to up the podcast table game.
Well, I think we've got a pretty high-end podcast setup. Table not included.
I've had this table for so long.
Carry on talking about Becca.
Anyway, we got in the Uber. It took us to the adult hospital because we didn't realise there was a children's hospital.
We said A&E. We said A&E with a bleeding child, and he took us to the adult hospital. Yeah. Feels like that one was on him.
Yeah, but he wouldn't maybe have had a child and know.
He was an old bloke from Liverpool who had experienced taxi driver who you'd imagine knew what the situation was children's and hospitals in Liverpool.
You can't sit there because I can see my reflection now and I am horrified.
But I can't sit forward because I'm leaning on the podcast.
Okay,
I'm leaning on the table. That's much better podcast. Jesse's now got her hand in front of my face.
So we went to
as if she to say, don't go there, girlfriend.
Or stop right now. Thank you. We were seen very quickly. And the lovely nurse immediately said, even though our fourth child was crying, she was like, are you two comedians?
And I said, I am, she's not.
We were in and out very quickly. And there was a building being demolished outside the hospital, which was quite exciting to look at. And we were very quickly in an Uber back to the hotel. And we still managed to see the Minecraft movie.
I didn't.
But Alfie decided that he now didn't want to see the Minecraft movie. Yeah.
Well, it was important to stay at home with the child.
No, we could have easily gone, but the baby had fallen asleep by this point. Anyway, the Minecraft movie was incredible. I'm sorry. I don't care if you didn't like it. It was amazing. But I think I mainly love it because the two lead characters of Jason Momoa and Jason Black are...
Jack Black.
Sorry, did I say Jason and Jason? God, I'm dumb. Jason Momoa and Jack Black are two of my dream men. And I think the reason I love Alfie is because he's directly in the middle of those
I'm
two
both
men.
like in terms of everything, really. Everything. I'm not quite as Jack Black and not quite as Jason Momoa, but everything that is good about either one of them I possess, but not quite as good. It's like I'm like a compromise in either direction from both people.
Yeah. And you're quite burly and serious sometimes, but then you could also burst into song. And that was the great thing about the movie. There's 2 songs in it where Jack Black just starts singing out of nowhere. And so he should do musical theatre because he's so present singing that almost you can see when it cuts to the other actors watching him, they're trying not to laugh because it's just, he's so committing. And it's not even a full song. He's just burst into song for a couple of verses.
Well, I had a wonderful time at my mum's when the children formed a conga line and started singing the song, "You don't make friends with salad. You don't make friends with salad." Because my mum had decided to serve salad.
Oh, God.
And that's a song from The Simpsons, just in case you're not aware. 2
Simpsons references in this podcast already.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Santa's Little Helper.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, the baby was fine and the Minecraft movie was amazing. And we did have a couple of fights in Liverpool, but they were mainly because of your mood. You abandoned us in Waterstones.
Yeah.
You just left.
Yeah. That's a way of telling that story, I suppose.
You did. You just walked off.
Yeah.
Then you did come back.
Yeah. There is no form of storytelling that does not involve some sort of bias. So you can have it. You can have it. I did unprovoked leave Waterstones. And I was
abandoned.
Yeah. I'm not sure you can quite call it abandoning when somebody comes back within the next 5 seconds.
It wasn't 5 seconds. Okay. People looked as well. People looked at you walking away. And I looked at them and I was like, I nodded.
Yeah. It'd be great to be you sometimes, wouldn't it?
I could tell you were in a bad way though, so I didn't really mind.
You did.
Well, the thing is, you got annoyed at me because I had brought the bags from the hotel to Waterstones to go to the station when I should have stayed at the hotel and waited for you to come back rather than having to go in a triangle. And you were annoyed at that stupidity. But I thought it would save you time because then you could go off. And so I was doing it in your best interest, but it actually was just an incredibly dumb thing to do because I was carrying like 8 bags.
Just ridiculous.
To walk the wrong way to the station. So you were just annoyed at that, right?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's too tiresome. Like these arguments upon reflection, it's very rare that you'll have an argument and think, oh, that was a grudge worth holding, actually.
Yeah, true.
There are a few times where we've had arguments where I can think, where I still regard you as deeply wrong. But they're very few and far
Which
between.
ones? Tell me. Top 2.
You don't want to know.
I do.
You don't want to know.
I think this would be great. Tell me.
Okay.
And it's amazing because I can't remember, other than you abandoning your family, I can't remember like the top, but that would be the top one, obviously.
I think the time that you were upset that I didn't walk you into my friend's funeral.
Yeah. To be fair, but I think you were in the wrong there. I think that is our biggest.
I know you do.
That is our biggest one.
I know you do, but I wasn't.
But I have my own relationship with him too, and I have social issues. So you weren't as accommodating with my social issues back then.
Yes, I understand that, and I do try and come out and meet you. But I have to warn you: if we ever attend another one of my friends' funerals, I probably won't have your social issues on top of my checklist.
Well, this is where I think that you are still in the wrong, because we should be united as a like, I hate the word, but partners.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I hadn't been invited to the funeral. I'd only been invited to the wake. So I was already like upset about that. And the fact that you then didn't come out to walk me in when there was like this massive people there, I was shaking. I was actually shaking. I was so nervous. I cannot walk into any space when there's people already there that I might know. I find it so awful and nerve-wracking. I can't describe how much. And so the fact that you didn't just think, oh, I'll just go and walk her in and be there for her as well. You were just so focused on yourself.
Yeah. Now try and describe it from my side. Like, how would you tell you that you were wrong if you were trying to win the fight?
I would have said, all right, he's devastated. He's bereft. This is the most formative figure in his life up at that moment that you'd lost. You also just had your career stripped from you. This was 4 weeks later. And you were preoccupied with the number of people that you had close to you that were also mourning. And you didn't have time to come and find your poor girlfriend outside shaking.
And I was about to give a sort of send off sort of speech type thing out of the window.
And you were about to give a brilliant speech. I didn't realize that because you didn't tell me anything, because you never tell me anything. Because when you're preoccupied with your emotions, you tend to shut off and not share things with me. So if I had known that, maybe I would have been more forgiving of you not coming out to get me. So yeah, I think we're both fair, actually. You didn't reveal enough. So I wasn't as, if you just said, look, I'm going to be really preoccupied and busy because I'm really nervous about the speech. I didn't know you were doing a speech. Suddenly you just appeared out a window.
Sure.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah. It's good to do that. And I think you always are at your best when you're trying to decipher our fights in a performed medium.
I can see how I was wrong too.
You're willing to give it a lot more. You're willing to see it a lot more from the side. Like, I'm very keen to always come and get you and bring you into places when I know that you have anxiety. But I, on that occasion, didn't take that really into account.
But remember, my trauma is also coming from a side of the cancellation that we haven't really explored enough yet.
Well, listener, that'll come along in another episode. Let's not shoot our wad too soon.
Yeah, but I think
cancellation.
Something that we need to talk about more.
Something we need to talk about more.
That is probably in the last 3 years the biggest thing that we both haven't recovered from.
I'm still not over it.
And then what's the other one? You said top 2? You can remember?
I can't remember the other one.
Okay, cool.
Can't remember.
Okay. Well, I resent you now.
Why?
Because I resent you that you resent me.
You resent that I resent you?
Yeah.
But I don't resent you.
But you do, because you just described how you haven't gotten over that.
Yeah, but I said that there's very few. But also you do get over it. Obviously, that was several years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So almost exactly. So
yeah, but we had only got to get back together 5, 6 weeks before.
Sure. And that's by the by, but like it was, yeah.
I'm more relaxed now.
You are more relaxed. You're not less socially anxious. And I do come and get you when you walk into places.
And I drink more.
You do drink more. You're a little fucking booze hound these days.
No, I'm not. But
You're sloshed right now.
I'm more, Alfie.
Let's tell the papers.
No.
Jessie Cave in drink problem extravaganza.
I'm more relaxed about alcohol now. Like at the convention, we had to do a wine tasting.
Drunk Jessie Cave, strong opinion on Supreme Court's ruling.
Alfie, shut the fuck up. So yeah. I don't know where we've gone. I don't know where we've fucking gone.
Have you made any?
Anyway, let me just finish the podcast. We got 10 minutes left because I'm feeling too guilty about the kids. So we have to go. But so during the Easter holidays, while we're in Liverpool, which we are moving to this year,
Liverpool. Liverpool.
Shut the fuck up. We found out about our child's place at school because he's going to be starting or should be starting reception in September.
Oh, you'll like this, listener. If you thought Jessie was an eccentric before, just wait until you get to the end of this little doozy. She's really well and truly lost her mind. Go on.
Okay, I'm just going to write. I think actually we should just do a whole episode about this. Sorry, I'm just writing down cancellation from Jessie's point of view.
Yes, the most important point of view.
But I also think we should do a whole episode about this. But basically, our son didn't get into any of our choices. He doesn't know about school. He doesn't give a shit. He didn't get into a school that we would like him to get into. That all of the schools in Liverpool and I think up north in general are oversubscribed. In London, it's the opposite problem because everyone can't afford to live here anymore, so everyone's moving out. But basically, this has catalyzed a desire in me, which is to take them out of school and go traveling as a family and homeschool for a year.
Now, what have I done to deserve this? That's what I keep. Why? Like this is the story of your entire life. As soon as it became slightly easier with the first child, we had a second. As soon as with 2 babies, and they were both out of nappies. As soon as we stopped double fisting shitty nappies every day, we had a third.
Double fisting? What the fuck?
What
do you mean?
I just mean, why?
What does that mean?
Double fisting, if you're double fisting pints, it means you've got a pint in each hand.
Oh, right. Okay,
so
cool.
if you're double fisting shitty nappies, it means that you've got a pooey nappy in each hand because there are 2 children shitting themselves at any given time.
Right,
got so I was just using a colourful phrase and taking it from one area to another area.
I was just checking. Okay, go on. Yeah, and then as soon as we do that,
we've got a fourth. As soon as
COVID baby, the third,
2 COVID babies,
2 COVID babies,
and now and it's literally within weeks of our youngest going, I'm a big boy. I don't need a nappy anymore. Jessie goes, ding, 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 ding. Let's move this up a difficulty setting.
Triplets.
Stop saying triplets every episode.
Yeah, I just think it would be nice to go traveling as a family.
If anybody has triplets, very newborn triplets, could we borrow them for a week? Because I want Jessie to look after your triplets and our children. I'm going to go to Aruba or something for a week, maybe Nashville, see my friend. I could go off and you could just look after, and it'll be like what it would be like if I've got like a run of gigs and you've got all 7. What's Jessie up to?
I didn't actually think about the fact that it'd be 7.
What's Jessie up to? Oh, she's just with the 7 kids, her 7 children,
and writing a novel,
and paying back her book deal, more like.
Really going for it on OnlyFans.
Okay. Can you look after the triplets, please? Mummy has to go and do an OnlyFans post. Otherwise, none of us eat this evening. How has OnlyFans been going?
Hey, no, let's stick on topic, please. Why
you want to carry on talking about this madness?
No. Are you open to this idea of going traveling with our family next year?
Not really.
I'm going to cry.
I think it would be we've just got a house.
Yeah, but it would just be for a couple of months. Just taking them out for a couple of months and having a break before he starts year 7 and then he's in a system until he's 18.
It would just be for a couple of months.
Just for a couple of months. And then we just find a school for them that's right. Mm-hmm. And then they settle down for year 7, year 6, year 1 reception.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last chance we've got before. It's the last chance really we'll have to travel. But because he's going to be in secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
And he will have got into a place by then, so we'll know where he's going for year 7. And it's just like, why not? Why not do something that I've always wanted to do? Like, I follow this family. They have 10 kids.
Oh my God.
I follow this family on Instagram and they travel in their RV. Obviously, it's massive around America and they homeschool their kids and they just travel and they do family reels. Obviously, I wouldn't do family reels. I've watched the dark side of influencers on Netflix, the thing about kid influencers, which is terrifying. I wouldn't do that, but we could write. I can write wherever I go. You could gig in Australia. Like, why not? It'd be so fun.
When do you want to do this?
January, February, March, April.
That's not 2 months.
Okay, January, February, March. March, April. Just homeschool for a bit in Liverpool.
Oh my God, it would be a nightmare.
But I would do it. I would do it all. I said that, I would do it all.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, but I would do it all. I do basically do it all when I'm not a Pottercon.
You don't do it all.
Well, no, my mum does it all.
Is she coming to Australia?
Yeah, she could come to Tasmania for a bit. Tassie. We could go and visit. Maybe they have a thing like, how you can visit the Friends set. Maybe they have a thing where you can visit the maths set.
Well, we could stay in the maths hotel.
Yeah.
Alfie's gone to sleep in another apartment after a fight with Jessie.
Oh, we have to do that. We have to do that dialogue from that scene from maths last night. Just gold. What did she say?
Do you think it's all right to...
Do you think it's appropriate to be patronising me like that?
Elliot,
do you think it's appropriate for you to be patronising me like that, Elliot? Oh, and the Oscar goes to...
I feel a lot better about watching maths now because of a clip I've seen of Werner Herzog on Conan's podcast where Conan says, "Oh, you watch the Kardashians, I hear." And Werner Herzog's like, "Yes, I watch some trash TV. I also like how you say the WrestleMania. And I think it's a very interesting art form. You have these crude forms of media." And I think that's like the same with maths. You've got, it is a real interesting introduction to people with low quality brains.
What? I don't think they got low quality brains.
The people on maths?
No.
Elliot doesn't. Elliot seems like a smart guy.
Yeah, I bet you can read a lot around Ree. See how much you can read around Ree. Anyway.
The guy with a great body who reads all the time. What's the fucking problem?
Yeah. But why has he been why he's 35 and he's single and he's basically Thor? How? He doesn't have a personality. That's how. You read all the books you want. It's not going to get your personality, is it?
Well,
it's really not.
It'll help.
I don't think so, because the more I read, I think, well, I should be getting better at writing. I should be way better at using words and finding the appropriate words and changing the words, and as bad as ever.
The reading isn't created equal. You have to read deeply and with a sense of wanting to have learned. Like, you can read a book passively and then you've finished the book and you go, well, that book's fucking finished. Whereas if you read deeply and try and absorb what it is, make notes in the margins, which is exactly what you did with Edith Wharton.
Yeah.
And you did see a remarkable improvement in your vocabulary, didn't you?
Yeah, but I don't remember the word.
And also you got into that style of writing, which is, and you said, I can't read this. And then by the end you were loving it.
Yeah, but now I'm reading a book about a woman who basically is stranded in a house in the woods because of some kind of wall, a sci-fi type thing, a wall. It's kind of half dystopian and half, what's the opposite of dystopian?
Topian.
Apocalyptic. Is that dystopian, apocalyptic?
They're both sort of, dystopian is a utopia is utopian is the opposite of dystopia.
That's good. Utopia is good.
Utopia is paradise.
Oh no, this isn't paradise. This is dystopia.
Dystopia is the antonym.
Right. And an antonym is? Anyway, moving on. This is like a
You lost your mind during this podcast.
I can't think, and I need to go. I need to go back to the kids. Anyway, we're going traveling for a year with our kids. We're going to live in an RV and we're going to have 10 kids.
So if anybody's in Australia and has any ideas about how we as a family of 6 can do Perth Fringe World Festival, the Adelaide Comedy Festival, followed by the Melbourne Comedy Festival, brackets, which I don't really like or think is a very good.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
It's just the audiences are so fucking...
Don't say it. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I want to do the Melbourne Festival. I haven't had my chance yet, so you be quiet.
I like the Melbourne. I will say for the Melbourne Festival, it has lots of great people working for it.
Okay, that's enough.
It's just always found the audience is slightly difficult.
Anyway, it's not just Australia I'm thinking about. I'm thinking like there's a girl in our oldest son's class who they go in and out of the school system and take them out for a few months at a time and go traveling around the world. And then, this is really cheeky, they send videos to their class and the class watches this girl being like, hi guys, I'm in Hawaii. Today I've learned about this kind of plant and I've helped this animal. And all of these poor kids who are watching in London are just looking at this girl having the best time on her world travels. And the teacher lets the videos be played. But it's amazing. How great. But I'm jealous of that. I want to give them an experience.
This fucking area, honestly.
I want to give them an experience. And I feel like it would be such a gift for them to live in a different country for a bit and to travel and to not be in school day in, day out. It'd be so amazing.
It's not really the time for it though. They've got later years to travel. It's like, it's not, I don't know if it is.
I want them to be able to play.
Yeah, but I know, but I've got like friends who as children moved for their parents' work and lived in various places, military kids or what have you. And they don't go, oh yeah, it was great. They just go, yeah, it was, you had to move because fucking dad's work.
Okay, well, maybe we'll break up again and I can take them on my own.
But no, they're still, I'm not going to break up with the children, am I?
But I'm going to take them to Hawaii and you can't stop me.
Well, I legally, I really can.
Okay, let's end this podcast now.
But I can, can't I? We had to go.
No, you can't legally because we're not married.
Yeah, but legally I can't. Otherwise you wouldn't have had to get a thing from the passport office to take them to wherever you took them before, LA.
Yeah, but I'm the primary caregiver.
That not legally, you're not.
Need to sort that out. Right, let's end this podcast. I'm joking, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening.